I'm just gonna live with it. I'm just gonna live with it for now. Learning lesson. When the sun starts to set, it sets on your car and gives you a matte reflection through the window. Anyway. Okay, so let's talk about yarn because it's my favorite. I'm very much a one project person. I don't have multiple projects going on for now. And that's only because that's how my brain works. I will get very overwhelmed really fast. If I see that there are multiple things to do in different baskets, I will definitely procrastinate and not finish them because I feel like it's just too much of a task, and they'll sit there. Usually switch between like socks, hats, and then to a sweater, and then to a hat, and then to some socks or something. So right now I'm working on the Ranunculus sweater. And this is a really good sweater if you're a beginner knitter, and you want to figure out like how to construct a sweater. It's a very simple pattern. You do need to know how to purl, how to knit, how to increase, short rows, and I think that's it. It sounds overwhelming, but the way I get through it, or the way I have gotten through it with patterns, is that I will, if there's a stitch that I don't know, I will watch a YouTube tutorial on how to do that stitch. And luckily this pattern has YouTube tutorials. When you buy the pattern, if you're like, what stitch is this? You can click on a link that's in the pattern and it'll show you how to do it. I'm a very visual person, and that's how I learn, is if I see somebody do it. So if you're that way as well, it's a really good pattern to utilize as an actual tool to learn. So I have this sweater part done, the body. I have the body done. And I have been using an alpaca, 100% baby alpaca yarn that I saw at the Knitting Cup, which is one of the local yarn stores near Austin. It's actually in Georgetown, which is north of Austin. I saw this yarn on the shelf. Looks like this when you get it. And as you can see, it's like really drapey, and it's super squishy, and it's really soft, and it's baby alpaca. What that means, I mean, I've had this yarn in my stash for a very long time, and what baby alpaca means to knitters is that it's extremely warm, very, very warm. It's very drapey, so you're not going to get that kind of like stiff construction in a garment that you would if you were to, knit with wool. But since it's cold here in Austin right now, currently, some of you won't think it's cold. You'll think it's a joke, actually. You'll be like, that's spring. The mornings are like 30 degrees, and then it gets up to like 75. Anything below 75 degrees, I'm freezing. Those southern girls. As it's really drapey, I have read that alpaca will not really hold. It'll actually stretch. And just looking at this pattern online, I was able to figure out like, okay, well, this is the kind of garment that would look really nice if it was drapey, and if it did stretch, I wouldn't mind. When you're thinking about what yarn to use for your project, definitely think about what the yarn is really going to do to the garment. That's another learning lesson that I learned all too hard, actually. This is actually the Eco Puna by Amano, which is 100% baby alpaca made in Peru. And that's what the little tag looks like. Isn't it cute? I mean, also, I'm all about branding, so anything that looks like this, it speaks to me. When I saw this on the shelf, I bought a sweater's amount worth, which is a lot. I got really excited that day. And it's been on my mind forever, and so finally I started knitting it. And this has gone by so fast. I started like a week ago or something, and I finished the body recently, and it's actually gonna freeze in Austin next week, and I'm pretty excited because I'm gonna wear the shit out of this. Like I showed you with those circulars, and those the interchangeable needles, you can actually put your sleeves on hold, like I mentioned, and it has a little stopper at the end. So these are the sleeves on hold, and it makes things really easy. So easy, in fact, that you can actually try it on when you're done with the body. Oh, look how cute it is. It's really nice. It's really soft. One of the greatest things about knitting is that you're making clothes for yourself and garments for yourself, and so it's customized to your body and the materials that you want to use, and it's not like going to a store and then your sweater falls apart in like 3 washes. So this is luxury. Okay, so let's talk about I want to talk about a piece of knitting that I'm proud of, and I always laugh when people show their socks on these things because doesn't it look funny? It looks hilarious to me. I don't know. It looks better on your foot, okay? These socks right here, these are them. These things don't really do them justice. This is just so that they dry and that they set for you new knitters, okay? It is the 2-color socks by Joji Locatelli. Let me tell you something. This lady knows how to write a pattern. It's so freaking easy to understand. If you don't understand how to do some stitches, you can definitely find some YouTube tutorials to teach you how to do it, which is it's exactly what I did. I didn't know how to do these like yarn overs at the time, which is what you'll see, these like little holes in the sock. And also how to do any of this shit. Like, how do you even make the heel? Like, it'll tell you everything. There's probably some dog hair on this, which is, I have a dog, okay? Like, you wear socks, you get dog hair on your socks. The pattern was so well written. I didn't have to like do anything special to count like stitches on this side or this side, and make any markings on the first sock in order to finish the second sock. That's how good the pattern is. These are my first set of socks, and I've only worn manufactured socks, which you get at freaking Target or wherever you get your socks. And I thought, you know, it was probably just gonna be like those, but you made it special. You made it your kind of sock, whatever. A sock that is knitted does not feel like a freaking sock that you buy at the store. It's like a hug for your foot. It's like somebody's giving you a sweet little hug. It's really luxurious. So if you want to do something like treat yourself, knit a pair of socks and then put them on, and then, I don't know, like eat a bag of Doritos. It feels great. It's actually what I did this week to feel a little bit better, because we all needed to feel a little better. Another project that I'm super happy with is the broadleaf slouch. This is it right here. That I finished last month, before the holidays. It was going to be my Christmas hat because, you know, green and red, Christmas. And it's fantastic. It's a beautiful pattern. I learned how to brioche. That was the important part. I learned how to freaking brioche. And not only that, but I also decided that I was going to learn how to swatch something, because lo and behold, this girl knows swatch, which in knitting terms, it's also Russian roulette. But I wanted to make sure that if I was going to learn how to brioche, I'm also going to swatch to make sure I get the right gauge. For you new knitters, there will be another video about gauge. I've had so many traumatizing things for not figuring out what gauge was, which is how to make the pattern fit the way it's supposed to, the way, you know, the person, that the designer made it, so that you could knit the exact garment at home. Yeah. Anyway, traumatizing. We'll talk about that later. That would take a whole day. And some tequila. I learned how to brioche, and this hat is so dang warm. So here are my learning lessons for this one. One, definitely figure out gauge, because if I were to use the needles that were in the pattern and try to knit something like this, brioche makes things a little bit, what's the word, like stretchy? It definitely, it's very stretchy. It's definitely wider than normal gauge. There are a lot of yarn overs, which is where you add like an extra kind of stitch and it adds spacing, and don't really know the technical term. Sorry, experienced knitters. I'm a beginner. Just be really nice to me, okay? I'm still learning. If I were to use the needles that were recommended in the pattern, my hat would have been way too freaking big. When I did the measurements, it was actually like a whole half an inch bigger, and it was just one of these little patterns right here. I just did a swatch like this. Actually, I have a swatch somewhere. Where the hell is that? Swatchy swatch? We got a swatchy swatch? Oh, I found it. So I also did a few swatches to figure out like what colors stand out. The pattern really comes with great video tutorials and everything to help you figure out your colors. So thank you, Woolen Pine. Woolen Pine made this pattern for and they also have a gorgeous sweater in this brioche, which I just might do next. I don't know. I'm so glad I did swatches, because if you compare this to this, do you see how much bigger? It's a little ridiculous how much bigger, and I don't even have this on the edge here, but how much bigger this is. It's like a whole, do this times like 5, and then your hat's gonna be like this much bigger. Do gauge there, and then also you can figure out what colors stand out against the other. I'm actually surprised I didn't choose this. I might do another one. But I really liked how the red went with the green, and I love the red so much that I decided that instead of doing the rest of this hat green the way it's supposed to, the bottom back color is actually it's partnered with mohair. I decided to do the red with mohair. The red is Velvet by Chasing Rabbits Fiber Company, and their Polwarth base, which was great to work with. I fell in love. The red is just delicious. That bitch is delicious. Like, it was the best red. I'm very particular about reds. They all don't look good on me. This one does. And I also just bought this mohair, which is Beaches and I joke, I'm like, beaches and booches. Beaches and bougie. But I bought this from my local yarn shop, Hill Country Weavers. They had a whole, they actually only had one of these left, and so I had to grab it because it matched the other red. So the thing about mohair is that it makes the hat really warm for you new knitters out there. And I definitely needed it during the holidays. It was actually quite cold here in Austin for my little Mexican body. Couldn't handle it. This hat was really helpful. I love that yarn so much that I wanted to share my next project, which I think I'm gonna do a pair of socks after the sweater is done, just to get something really fast going and finish it really fast. And Chasing Rabbits Fiber Company also has this yarn, and it really makes my little Mexican heart just beat really fast. Look how pretty. She is so beautiful. I mean, it gets me really excited. It gets me excited, to say the least. So that one is also in the Polwarth base. It's 4-ply fingering, 100% superwash. New knitters, you don't have to buy expensive yarns. You can definitely go to Joann's and buy what they got. Like, that's how I started. I looked at the weight of the yarn, which is how thick it is, or how heavy it is, and also the thickness of it to make sure it aligned with my pattern. And it was affordable that way. I am very lucky to still be employed, and also I have a very great job, and you know, I can afford to make these purchases. I just love the color. I love the yarn base. It's beautiful to work with. You'll learn when you're for beginner knitters, like when you're working with yarns, you will figure out like what feels good in your hands, and if it feels good in your hands, then you're gonna finish the project. And this one does. So I'm excited to use this. This is also, it's a lot of yarn. It's 437 yards, which is around 400 meters, and it's 100 grams. So there's a lot I could do with it. I could make 2.5 pairs of socks, I think, or a pair of socks and something else. So that's really all I want to talk about today. I'm excited to get this dang sweater done. If you are interested in see what it looks like, follow the Poppy Library on Instagram, and I will share what that looks like there. I'm really bad at updating my Ravelry page, which, sure, I'm just terrible at it. I just share it on Instagram. So if you want to see what it looks like, you can see it there. You can just wait for the next episode, because I'm probably going to just talk all about it and wear it and just model it for you. So there's that. And thanks for joining and listening to me blab on about yarn and knitting. I really, really love talking about it. I'm very passionate about it, and I can't wait to continue to make more things and share them with you. Until then, be safe, make good choices. Yeah.